All right, here we go. Now, assuming that you have done everything correctly, you've got all these holes so that there's no mud in them. Everything's ready to rock. All right, you're going to do the second to last step, and what that is you have some acetone and a rag. And what this acetone does is it actually slightly melts all of your edges just a little bit, and all that's doing is it's going to smooth them out. You got to rub it with the acetone, and you'll see it turn shiny and then dull. You do that on all the edges, and it'll make them look hand polished. It'll make them look nice and slick. See, like that. Coming out nice and slick. Cool looking. Excuse me, other sheath halves. Alright, so you rub these. Get all those edges nice and cool and slick. Everything looking good and clean. Alright, now we're going to skip to the next to last step and go ahead and knock this out. This last rag, it's nothing but got some WD-40 on it, and as you can see, there's a little bit of discoloration around where we use the acetone, and this WD-40 is going to knock that out. Actually, let me get another squirt of the WD real quick. Alright, now, alright, what you're doing is you're making sure that there isn't a single speck of dust inside this sheath, because once you eyelet this thing together, it is together forever. So we're just going to clean it out. Actually, don't bother wiping off the excess WD-40 because it's going to help things when I do the fitment test. All I'm doing is rubbing this thing, make sure it's nice and clean. And man, when they're clean and slicked up, they look good. Oh, look at that. So cool. All right. So now I use some brand new eyelets. And, whoop, don't want to spill. All right, keep in mind the majority of people in the world are right-handed. If you have somebody who wants one that's eyeletted left-handed, that's fine, but it doesn't make that big a deal. The eyelets are going to be slightly larger on the pre-set side. So if that's the one that you want to be out, then cool. I always put that side out. I imagine someone wearing the sheath with this side out. So you put all these in. Get it ready to rock and roll. All right. And do one last visual inspection here. Make sure that we're not about to do something stupid and finish something that doesn't need to be out there in the world. All right, that all looks pretty good. Now we're going to take it to the eyelet press and set all these eyelets. Alright, so here we are at the final step. Hopefully this camera angle is good enough to catch this. This is a standard eyelet press. This is a 1/4 ton press. We've got eyelet dies in here for the number 8 eyes that I use. And this is super easy. I already got the eyelets in. And all I'm doing, I'm not having to apply much pressure, is just put them in. And you got your... You're going to put the open side on the side that has the needle. That guides it onto the die. I'm looking at this from a weird angle, which is why I'm trying. But this is all it is, and it doesn't take much force. Now, if you use Kydex, it's a little too thin. You could get splits in your eyelets. But I find that as long as your Kydex is the right thickness and your eyelets are the right size, you won't get any split backs or anything like that. Everything comes out nice and clean. And that right there is a sheath. And let's go ahead and do a fit test. I believe that is for this green one right here. So we're just going to check real quick. by the way, this knife going to be available at Fiddleback Outpost very, very shortly. Put on a little rag. I just want to make sure that there's no tape glue or anything still on here. Alright, there we go. Alright, cool. So, here we go. Alright. What's going on is where my plunge is meets up with this chamfered part and helps split the Kydex, and from there it's actually the top of the handles, goes in, and that's it. Super, super simple. Now, you might not get that incredibly satisfying click with every single knife. Let me try to find one that might not have that. And a lot of that just has to do with the shape of your blade and the Kydex. If you do this right and you have the retention point just like you need it and everything, the chances are you're going to get that real satisfying click noise. Let's see, this is the tan one. I don't even have that one eyelided together yet. That's not going to be it. That might be it. No. Get it. Let's see, that I think is the bigger one. Yep. So that's for that. Let me eyelet this together real quick, and we'll see if this one has that incredible snap. Ooh, my hands are very slippery from being in those gloves. Dang it. And it's ridiculously hot in this shop today, and so I am sweating buckets and buckets of sweat. Alright, let's do this real quick. Now sometimes with these 24/7s I don't get that incredible click noise, just because of the shape of that thumb wrap, even with a shim put in there so that it doesn't affect anything. Sometimes I still don't get that satisfying noise, but we shall see. So we'll put that in there. Yeah, there you go. And it won't come out on its own. So that's good retention. Got a good click. Just like that. Good to go. So that's a good Kydex sheath. Alright. I apologize for my weathered appearance. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. It did not end up being the world's fastest Kydex tutorial, but hopefully it taught you everything that you needed to know. And so you've seen how I do it. Hopefully some of you guys can start making some killer Kydex sheaths, because I hate making sheaths and I would prefer somebody else do it. You know what I'm saying? So somebody get where you can make these sheaths real good. Peace.